starting off in season one, a lot of you guys are caught up. A lot of you guys aren't. Again, this is going to contain spoilers, so if you have not watched the season yet, the first season of The Flash, do not watch this. Do not watch it. This is spoilers. I'm going to release details from The Flash of season one on the CW, featuring Grant Gustin, Danielle Panabaker, Tom Cavanaugh, and so and so. So season one. With season one of The Flash, there's a lot going on. You see the little famous intro of, this man in the yellow suit comes by with Barry Allen chilling in his home, pretty much. And Barry Allen is just a little kid when his mom is murdered and stabbed to death. Barry Allen is the fastest man alive, and he gets his powers being acquired by getting struck by lightning. And when he gets struck by lightning, that happens when he's in his early 20s and he really wants to focus. He wakes up from a coma and he starts witnessing all these new powers, these new weird happenings with his body and everything like that. And he gets really in depth with who am I, what's going on, what kind of things are happening. And he really has to encounter a lot of different types of villains, and it kind of helps him out to focus on who he's going to be as a hero, who he's going to be as a person. And obviously, he does gather a nice little team at Star Labs, which is the home of the Flash and the home of kind of where he gets to be healed, because you can't just have some guy in a costume getting healed all the time, getting brought back in a better standing, in a healthier standing, when it comes to when you're getting beat the shit out of you all the time by bad guys. So Reverse Flash, many of you guys watch this season. Eobard Thawne. Who is Eobard Thawne? Eobard Thawne is someone in the future who goes back and forth through time, and one of his main missions is to prevent Barry Allen from stopping the stabbing of his mother. So, and he wants to make sure that Barry Allen becomes the Flash, because he is threatened by the Flash. He thinks the Flash is better than him, and he knows it. But he does everything in his power to try to contain that and fulfill that from... He really has a vendetta, almost, with him. And it's funny. Harrison Wells? Who is Harrison Wells? Was he in the comics? Was he not? I'm not going to release that information. But in the show, he is not, according to the CW. And according to the CW, as a matter of fact, Harrison Wells is the one who caused the particle accelerator to explode, ultimately paralyzing him and releasing a bunch of metas throughout the world. And this becomes the biggest thing the biggest plot in the series. It affects the whole world and unleashes all these meta. They're connected in a way. And throughout season one, you see, we meet a guy named Eddie, and this guy Eddie, who Iris West also falls in love with. Not to mention, hint, hint, Barry Allen has a crush on Iris West, but are kind of brother and sister in a way, but not really. Just more of because Barry Allen is adopted, and we see this relationship develop throughout, but really not on Iris' side. More Barry's trying to hide the potential side. But as we continue through that, Barry tries to keep the secret from Joe, keep the secret from Iris, and all that. And throughout the season, you get to the point where they're actually getting onto something. They're getting close to finding out who Barry is. Joe, and obviously Joe learns first, but later down the line, Iris will probably learn that he is the Flash, and his friends Cisco and Caitlin obviously know he's the Flash because they work humans to come around and roaming around. So you see a lot of develops with different types of characters. Barry learns to harness his lightning powers and speed force inside him, and also reach different subpars of speed. Mach 2, Mach 1, all that type of stuff, like Mach 1, Mach 2, Mach 3, all these different marks. But obviously later down the series, in the seasons, you're going to see him get faster and faster. But also, while getting faster, sometimes he has a lot of life lessons down the line that he learns. Hey, these powers work, but sometimes you got to use your instincts too. Sometimes you got to use your smarts. It's not always about the powers. Also, try to be tactical when it comes to trying to save the people you love and the cared ones around you. So on top of that, later in the season, and after several bad guy side fights, a lot of the interesting fights in between, little hints of, oh, who is Harrison Wells? Harrison Wells. All these little cool, fun cutscenes that are pretty awesome that everybody loves. Towards the end, I know I love those. I hella love it. I got so jacked so many times. I jump off my fucking couch, and it's like, oh my god, the craziest thing in the world. And it's like you're seeing all these cool little clips that are hinting on the next episode, and you're like, man, I gotta wait another week. Not the point. The point is, when you see as this develops, you know, Harrison Wells actually becomes the person that betrays Barry Allen, and he is the person that he's been in time, and he has his own little. You've learned to find out that he has his own little space inside Star Labs, and he wants Barry to become faster. He's helping him get faster so he can have a little bit of a face-off with Barry, and also. Everybody thinks Harrison Wells is so nice, blah, blah, blah. Oh, but he's not the real Harrison Wells. And I apologize if I'm talking fast, but he is not the real Harrison Wells. It turns out at the end of fast forward, fast forward, the real Harrison Wells is dead. He is dead. He got killed at the beginning because Eobard Dawn looks like Harrison Wells and can change at any time. He looks like Harrison Wells for the purpose of being for treachery. He tricks everybody around him, and he allows this little machine, a little needle that he took to get DNA, transforms his skin, and that's what we find out at the end of the season 1. The fact that he made himself look like Harrison Wells, and he's actually betraying Barry the whole time, using him for his speed, he maybe even taking a little bit of it, and then at the same time, you find out the fact that they have to come to this little final encounter on how do you stop Eobard Dawn? What's going to work? What's going to be the main thing? And and during that time, we encounter all these other allies. You know, there's Robbie Amell plays Firestorm, the very first look at the very first Firestorm throughout the season, which is pretty nice. And he plays a nice part that helps out when you see this little connection and love story between played by Daniel Panabaker, but Caitlin Snow is in relationships with Firestorm and AKA, you know his name. But the fact is, he previously died, but then he came back just because of being hit by the particle accelerator or not, and while doing so, it allowed all this to happen, and in the end, you see that he also helps Barry stop Eobard Dawn, blah blah blah. But one of the biggest things is, Eddie only lasts for one season. He lasts for one season because he shoots himself. He shoots himself to die. He gives himself up. And I think that's actually one of the most controversial points in the whole season. Right at the end there, he shoots himself to save everybody. He turns out to be an ancestor, a cousin, similar to Eobard Dawn, but Eobard is more of the futuristic type of it. And by shooting himself, he lets Eobard disappear and erase from the timeline, which ultimately helps stop Eobard and his little treachery. By stopping Eobard Dawn and having this one final fight with him at the end, there's this big portal up in the sky that Firestorm also helps closes. Therefore, Firestorm is dead again, and obviously, what happens? Well, you might need to find a new Firestorm. Hint, hint, wink, wink. But with that being said, also, throughout the whole season, we are also uncovering the fact that, another famous side story, his dad, Barry Allen's dad, is imprisoned for being accused of killing Barry Allen's mother. While throughout the whole season, people think, or it is known as Barry Allen's dad, that is the murderer of Barry's mom. And he is not. He really is not. You kind of get the feel for that. You know that if you don't know the comics already. And you can kind of tell that it's a trend, it's a thing that Barry Allen's dad is not the murderer whatsoever. It is Eobard. You saw that. We saw that. We know that. I believe he is still in prison, based off jogging my memory. He's still in prison by the end of the season. Maybe not at the beginning of season 2. Who knows? We'll see. Spoiler alert. We'll get there. Wink, wink. Um, so, I want to thank you guys for watching this. That pretty much sums up season 1. It sums up season 1. A lot of bad guys. I'm not gonna get too much in depth with, there's a lot of side villains, and there's a lot of good ones. So when you watch a season, you're gonna see a lot of. He's gonna gain new powers, gain new smarts on what to do, how to fight villains, how to stop them. There's different types of weather villains, steel villains, plastic type villains, and they're really different speedsters. Like sometimes you run into Gorilla Grodd. There's a King Shark. You guys are gonna see a lot of that stuff. There's gonna see a lot of metas with different powers that can stretch, that have spikes, that are super strong. Sometimes there are people from Barry's past who he met and that were like bullies to him, for example, and they really tend to be bullies again. So he actually gets it actually turns into a very nice element of fighting. Fight on season 1 is kind of like a reckoning. It's kind of like finding out who he is. That's really what it all comes down to. So, but yes, he does stop Eobard Thawne. Obviously, speedsters can time travel. They can go back in time. They can run super fast, and to the point where they're actually alternating time. But you don't want to do it too much because the law of speed suggests that you don't want to fuck up time too much. But knowing Barry Allen, fun fact of the theory is, spoiler alert, obviously, he likes to fuck up the timeline. He will fuck up the timeline time and time again. I cannot repeat that enough, and he cannot stop doing that enough. But I wanted to start doing these reviews. So, if you guys like these reviews, kind of jibbly jabbly, let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, flex it out. Whatever you guys know, all things justice. That is the Flash Season 1 sum up review. You guys take care, and I'm going to do Season 2 next. See you guys next time.